Detailing, hatching, or filled regions. So why do we say hatching slash filled regions? Well, if you've been using AutoCAD or a CAD program, then you'll be used to the term hatch, and there's not really the equivalent in Revit. You'll notice that, for instance, when we blacked out the walls here, we didn't hatch it. We just changed the way the style behaves. The hatch is built into the object. If you were to look at brick, the brick material has a brick hatch built into it. So if you look at it in elevation, it's hatched. So really, hatching is not something you're going to be doing as far as like flooding a space with hatch. It's a little bit different. What they have is this thing called filled regions. We're going to go up and concentrate on this view right here a little bit. And this is our roof detail. What I'm going to do is activate the view right on the sheet. So let's just right click and activate the view. And we're going to draw a little bit of filled region in here. Let's go up to, this is under annotate where we've been working, and then under detail, and then region. And what you have is either a filled region or a masking region. They're the same thing. The only difference is a filled region, you can have a hatch pattern within it, like they're showing in that little picture there, the ground or concrete or something like that. Let's start with masking region. Let's see what that does. Filled regions or masking regions, regions in general, are made up by two parts. They're made up by the boundary lines, which have a line style that you choose, including invisible, as well as the filler. So what is inside? What is the hatch inside? So this masking region, let's see what this does. Well, what I'm going to do is just go to medium lines. I'm going to use the pick tool, pick lines tool, and I'm going to just pick that, pick that, pick that, pick that, and that's it for now. Then what I'm going to do is just draw a line right down here. Okay, I'll hit escape twice. Okay, then I'll go to trim and I'll just trim those up. And then I'll click on finish. So now you can see here, that object right there, this is where we talked about the different styles of detailing. This is not 3D, this is not on the model, this is just on this particular view. But what it's doing is it's working to kind of clean up the way things look a little bit. And it's using the masking region as an example. Okay, you also have the filled region. Let's look at that and discuss that a little bit. So let's just get out of this view. So I'm going to right click, deactivate that view. So let's talk about this filled region and what this is all about. I'm going to click on filled region, and it's going to be exactly the same as the masking region. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the pick tool again, and I'm going to pick that line. I'm going to pick that line. This time though, what I'm going to do is use an offset, and I'm going to say, let's go 1/2 inch. Let's just do that. Okay, now we can also pick, let's take off the offset. I'm just going to clear that to 0. Let's pick that existing line right there. Okay, and then we're going to trim. Good. And I'm zooming nice and close in, and I'm trimming that off. Good. So that's a 1/2 inch. Now here's the difference. If I just say OK to that, it's going to fill it with something. There's going to be some sort of hatch pattern inside of those boundaries. Let's click on Edit Type. Let's duplicate it. And let's call this one Roof 1. We'll say OK. Now, what do we want as our fill pattern? Well, we can click on that, and we can choose something. So maybe we want to choose a crosshatch, or we want to choose a diagonal hatch. Let's go with something like that, diagonal. All right, and then let's just say OK, and then let's finish. So now if you zoom in, you can see that's filled with a hatch pattern. If we were to stretch that out a little bit, see what happens? It's filled the boundary with a hatch pattern. Now, if you wanted to change the boundary, now let me just undo that a little bit. Back to the 1/2 inch there. Perhaps we wanted to change the way this ends. So we're going to click on it and say Edit Boundary. So maybe we want to draw something like this, and I'm going to go perpendicular and hit Escape twice. And then I'm just going to trim this out. Okay, and then we'll remove that piece. So we're just making it so it's like a board laid on top of the roof. And then we can take that little line. We could move that back a little bit if we wanted to. Okay, and then we can click on the check mark. So that's been done. Now you have to watch for things because you see that if you zoom right in, the line types are kind of giving us trouble. So we might want to click in on that, edit the boundary. And first of all, let's make sure that this top line is in fact lined up. Now let's change that to maybe a wide line. Accept that. So now the top line of this is wide. And then this is how the lines work. There's nothing really you can do about that. They just draw them as if they're done with a marker. So, okay, so we've got that piece done. Really, that's filled regions, and you want to use that as much as you can as opposed to just sort of drawing and trimming the old CAD way. This tends to be a little bit nicer in you can draw something and have it hatched all at the same time. Now, what about some other things in here? We might want to draw some hidden lines, some studs and all that. So those are things that we'll need to look at in other videos. Let's just click on this before we go. I want to drag this level out. Good. All right. And let's hit escape. Let's just deactivate the view, zoom extents, and we'll save that. And let's keep going.